Find a moment in time when you had a profound learning experience. A learning experience that you believe shaped or changed the way that you think, the way that you work, the way that you live, the way that you behave. So I just want you to take this moment. I'm going to give you a full minute to really go back and find that moment in time. Who are you with? What are the sights and the smells and the sounds? Really go back and find that moment in time. And slowly I want you to come back to the room, but capture that moment. Capture that moment, don't let it go. Remember it, remember how it felt. Now I can ask the same kids, who in this room is an artist? So many fewer hands went up, radical difference. Research shows that around that age, around the age of 8, we begin to become very aware of our ability to fail at things. And we become a bit scared. We become scared of learning. And we become scared of changing. At 8, human beings, can you imagine what happens? You know, and we have never lived in a moment of more change than now. All the conversations we've been having here today, we are surrounded by it as human beings. Klaus Schwab, founder of Davos, he's calling it the 4th Industrial Revolution. He says that we have never faced a time of greater promise or greater peril. So let's focus on that word, the peril, the fear, the thing that is stopping us. So the world of work is changing. This is why we're afraid. The Austin Martin Institute released a piece of research saying that up to 50% of jobs could be easily replaced by machines in the next 10 years. And I'm sure many of you saw that research. But I really want to bring to life the kind of scale of those numbers. 50%. There are up to 4 million people performing truck driving roles in the USA alone. But add on top of that, taxi drivers, Uber drivers, delivery people, the automation of transportation all across the world. And how about up to 8% of the USA economy is employed in manufacturing roles? 12.5 million people, and here is Tesla's factory in Fremont. Then just an admin role. That's a human role. That's a caring role. Zero friction and zero human, and people quite like it. But these people are now afraid. The boards. And I'm sorry to use this image, but it is what a lot of boards still look like. They are worried. They're going to have to be managing algorithms, machines, artificial intelligence. They've never done that before. But more than that, they're worried that actually they're going to be replaced by the machine. This is unlike any other industrial revolution that we have ever faced, because it's impacting every industry, every sector, from the top right down to the very bottom. It's a cognitive revolution. And it's all being driven by this. The thing that Steve talked about, the thing that he tinkered with at the beginning of his journey, the ones and zeros, the codes, the languages behind the screen, sending instructions to machines. It looks kind of scary, doesn't it, when you use an image like this? So how many people do you think can say that they feel confident about the technologies behind the screen? Can say that they even, I didn't say literate, feel confident about the technologies behind the screen? This is the thing, impacting everything. All our lives, every industry, every sector. Now, doesn't that feel wrong? That is wrong. A time of greater promise or greater peril. But hey, what if we just decide, yeah, it's scary. Why don't we just accept the world is changing? Just really accept that idea. And what if we decide that we're just going to get rid of the fear? We're not going to feel afraid. In fact, let's get rid of the peril. Then, we have never lived in a time of greater promise. It's so exciting. When we get rid of the fear, it makes me feel excited. So this is a pizzeria in East London, which is known as Tech City in London, and it's full of coders and entrepreneurs and hipsters. I was sitting on that very stool right there in front of you, sitting opposite my future co-founder, a guy called Steve, and we were really having a conversation. I didn't know he was going to be my future co-founder, and it was only a 30-minute long conversation, and it went something like this. Do you know how to code? Have you ever seen a line of code? Do you know how to create an app? Do you know anyone else who knows how to create an app? How did they learn? I want to learn to code, and do you know what they said? You can't. You can't, you'll fail. You haven't studied this, it takes a lifetime. You're not a genius. You're not a nerdy guy to learn. And it was like that 7-year-old kid in the classroom. That's how I felt. I felt like, yes, I am an artist. I am a coder. I want to learn. I'm going to do this. So, you know, there are more people studying Latin and ancient Greek at university at Cambridge at the moment than are studying coding. That's crazy. Doesn't that seem crazy to you? More people studying Latin than code at Cambridge. I mean, I actually studied, confession, I studied Latin and ancient Greek at Cambridge. So I did not study computing at university. But for me, code is just another language. I discovered it in 2011, but I have been into kind of codes since I was 7. I created my own secret codes to write my diaries in. I enrolled into a Japanese course at the age of 14 to kind of study that for 7 years. Incredible cultures. And for me, code is really the language of billions. It's the language of today. It's the language of now. And it's the language that can shape future cultures, future meaning. God, we need meaning right now. Security, innovation, APIs, the Internet of Things, taking it to 85 different cities across the world this year, working with you guys, and really touching the lives of millions, whether it be 500 teachers from state schools in the UK, the future skills that people are looking for. And what does success actually look like? So I want to share with you what I believe are the 7 steps to digital enlightenment that are common across all the businesses that we see that are really the world's biggest fintech. And they're not half-hearted about this. They're not saying we want to bring some data into this. They're saying they want to become a data platform. So this is a big, audacious, fast goal. They say they want to create €1 billion, additional euros from innovation by 2020. But a prototype is worth 1,000 meetings. I couldn't agree more. I mean, those words are spread all over their office. What it means is that a fluffy culture of innovation. They describe it as being aggressive, like and cannibalistic, like a shark's womb. That's what they say about their own culture of innovation. Isn't that crazy? Anyone can message him on their own messaging service, and he has cash prizes for successful products that are coded and tested with their own data. Digital enlightenment that I believe are very common across the businesses that are really, really owning this. Number 1, put data first. I don't know if you're anything like me, but I can hardly remember 3 things, let alone 7 things. So why don't we distill this down to just what is the one thing that I think the businesses, large or small, are doing that are smashing it, creating incredible products and experiences for their customers. And it goes back to it again. They have a culture of learning. They give everyone the permission to learn. And more than that, they do it with a kind of childlike enthusiasm that I think Steve totally encapsulated when he talks about the permission to learn. So, childlike feelings. What are we teaching our kids in school at the moment? I mean, I'm incredibly proud to have been part of a campaign in the UK to make coding a mandatory on the national curriculum in the UK. It's there now since 2014. It's a phenomenal curriculum. Every 7-year-old learns coding in the classroom. Behaviour, every single part of our lives is being impacted by the ones and zeros, the codes. And that number still stands well below 1%. Do you know what we need? We need an education revolution, not an evolution. I really don't think it is even halfway there, just adding things for image search, and you pretty much get a similar image to this. The irony is, education is one of the last industries to be truly transformed by technology. And it was really the last transformation that happened for education was over 100 years ago, the last industrial revolution. But I think there are some green shoots, some really exciting examples of where revolution is happening. And this is one of them. This is a school in Paris called École 42 for students from the ages of 16, I think, to about 24. And it is doing some revolutionary things that are really working. It is 3 years old. They only can take 1,000 students in a physical space. It's not digital. They had 70,000 students apply last year, and they can only take 1,000. What are they doing differently? Code is part of the curriculum. But wait a minute, that's it. There is no curriculum at this school. They set challenges, they set problems. How do they bring the students in? Not based on previous academic record, on challenges that they set them. And not on their financial well-being, you know, it's free. It's a taking things away. And they are so successful, they have just launched a school in San Francisco. They are teaching people in San Francisco how to code. People are going a bit bonkers about it because they're saying, oh my God, the French are teaching us how to code. But it's successful. And then on the other side of things, you have something like the Vector Institute, which is a Canadian academic institute that has set a huge goal. And teach yourself how to become a self-driving car engineer. How many people in this room have taught themselves to become a data scientist online? It's not really in human nature, is it? And you know, there's reasons for that. We just have to accept the fact that we are human. And actually, you know, what is it that we want to do? What do we want to be? When we're faced with abundant of choice, often we don't know how to choose. But if we ask ourselves a kind of more meaningful question about, you know, who is it that we want to be? What do we want to be able to do? I actually think we get rid of a lot of the jargon, and you begin to get to the core and nub of the skills that you actually want to learn. And it's exactly what we do every year. This time of year we're doing it at the moment, which is super fun, to decide kind of what products we're going to create. We do it around like what it is we actually want to learn to do. We wanted to do at the beginning. 2 years ago, cybersecurity. Another bit of jargon, really. I just wanted to be unhackable. I wanted to feel safe. And the only way I could do that was spending a year learning how to hack into all sorts of things, to actually learn how it was done to become safe. And what about artificial intelligence? And I know some people kind of hate that phrase, but I love this idea of harnessing the world's knowledge in the palm of my hand. I almost do already with my smartphone, but I wanted to be able to make better decisions than anyone else. So what I want you to do right now is find someone close to you. I'm going to give you a minute. Please, someone that ideally you've not spoken to before. And just talk to that person about, what do you want to learn to be able to do next year? What breakthrough do you want to be able to make so you could say, I'm a coder, I'm a singer, I'm a public speaker. What's the transformation that you want to make? 1, 2, 3, go. You know, things that we actually really want to learn to do. And I think in this room we'd have something like 1,000 people. So let's take all of you, this energy, these people in this room, and let's take all your families, and let's take your children, and let's pretend this is a town. because you then have the size of a small town in this room, and you have just created an amazing curriculum, better than 99.9% of the schools in the entire world. And if you fuse the curriculum that you have just created, the things that you want to learn, with the feeling that you had at the very beginning, that feeling of how amazing learning felt, you've created one of the best schools that's ever been created in the last 100 years. Now that would be a breakthrough. So I just want to end on one thought, which was slightly kind of brought up in the last presentation as well, which is Tim Berners-Lee said that this is for everyone. It's potentially one of the most powerful tools that's ever been created and one of the most democratic. And I do believe that we are living in a very special moment in time. The same as when the printing press was created. The same as when we first learnt to communicate. The same when someone picked up a pen and started writing. When you put code in the hands of everyone, it's an incredibly simple and powerful tool. You're then enabling human beings to spread ideas, creativity, and knowledge on a scale previously unimaginable. The future will never look the same. Don't work that way. I do hear that. I can assure you, we have taught over 50% women at Decoded, and women are able as men to computationally think. The only difference is the confidence, the perception that that is something that is open to them. How insane is that? Now there are lots of reasons why I believe that I want to smash this apart, but one of it is, I do believe that technology and code is one of the tools through which you can solve some of the world's greatest problems. And it's not really just about men and women. This is about diversity. We want to make diverse problems from a diverse set of insights. And to do that, we need to make sure that the future is written in lines of code that it is for everyone. So on that note, I want to thank you so much today for your hospitality and for basically creating one of the future curriculums that's going to go on and shape the world. And on that, I'm going to hand you over to Amadeus Stevenson, who's going to take you further behind the screen than ever before. And thank you very much again.